Hi, Dr. Vikki Petersen. With so many anti-aging tips out in the world, several of which can be pretty darn expensive, from stem injections and various IVs and NAD, and I don't have anything against any of these. There's a lot of things out there that you can do that I think are excellent, but I thought I could bring you a really cheap tip that's very easy to do and very based on some good science. So Dan Buettner wrote the book, The Blue Zones, and that's a book that's been out for several years, but no one has refuted the evidence that he has found around the world, where he went to 5 different areas around the world where people often live to over 100. So these are centenarian populations, little pockets. There's one in Italy, there's one here in the US, there's one in Japan, etc. And this is where living to over 100 is pretty common. It's not unusual at all. So these centenarian populations he visited, and he found several things that they had in common. But recently, when he was interviewed about longevity and was asked if somebody should take one supplement to increase their lifespan, he said yes, beans, which is a pretty cute answer, but also a really valid one. So he said yes, consume 120 beans every day. So where that came from, it's about a cup, so you don't have to start counting your beans. But he didn't care what type of bean, so whatever type you like. But what was found to be very true was, in these centenarian populations, they regularly ate at least 1 cup of beans every single day of their life. Now, if one thing Dan said in this interview is 90% is fine, you can have a 10% of your time where you do a little indulging, but don't go crazy about it. But beans are so cheap, and you can get them already cooked. Do not worry about lectins in beans. The lectins are only present when the bean is raw or very undercooked, and try to eat an undercooked bean. It will give you a bellyache, number 1, but number 2, who would? You could pretty much break your teeth trying to eat an undercooked bean. And if you get them canned, definitely organic, and rinse them. You can make them yourself as well, but they're pre-cooked, super easy to just have on hand in your pantry, or if you have a crock pot or various pots that cook your beans for you on a timer. Very, very easy to do so, very inexpensive, especially if you buy them raw and cook them yourself. But yes, make sure they're cooked, therefore you don't have to worry about lectins, and they're really, really healthy for you. So if you're somebody who gets gassy when you eat beans, a little bit of gas is not the end of the world, but if you're really uncomfortable, it just means there's 2 things. 1, you want to gradiently get used to eating beans, so just a little bit at a time. Also, you can try processing the beans, so something like having hummus, where the beans are all pulverized and have gone through sort of a food processing type of thing, might make it a little easier. So a gradient approach, try something like hummus, where they're really ground up quite a bit. Then the other thing is, if you really just try all these things and it's not working for you, really has to do with your enzymes in your gut. So you should be able to deal with beans. Gradient approach, yes, but if you just say, wow, I can basically eat none and I just blow up, that speaks to some help that your digestive tract needs to be able to assimilate these, because they're really, really good for you. They have what's called resistant starch, and that's that good starch that gets way down in the colon and feeds all the good guys in your lower colon, your microbiome. So in addition to the beans that are very inexpensive to consume, a couple of extra things that I wanted to add to that, which is exercise. 45 minutes a day for as many days of the week as you can is another known longevity tip. Being hungry a bit of the day, and you can do a lot of this while you're sleeping, meaning no food is coming in for a good 12 hours. You can push it to 13. the research is saying is much beyond 13 has liabilities to heart and gallbladder. This is Dr. Longo's work, who's a real expert in the field of longevity. So this whole 16-hour, 18 hours without food is not well researched, so I would caution against that until we know that it is safe, but at the moment it's considered not. So 12, 13 hours max. And then hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So make sure you're getting enough water. So we'll keep it very simple, very cost effective, and enjoy greater longevity with these easy tips. Now, if you're suffering and your health is not the way you want it to be, and whether it's how you feel right now, whether it's diseases in the family tree that concern you, you want to make sure you don't get certain things that seem to be heavily in your genetics, then please reach out. That's why we're here. We're really great at getting to the root cause of why you have the symptoms you have, and or looking at your genetics and unburdening them, which is a really fun field, so we don't have to be stuck with what mom and dad gave us. So please reach out. That's why I'm here. And the telephone number is 408-733-0400. I'll talk to you soon.